Hey guys, how's it going? Hobo Yeti here. Um, I wanted to do a video about the top 10 questions I get on my channel. Um, I try to answer all of my comments, obviously, uh, but there are comments, there are questions that come in pretty often that I would just like to address now. Um, and that these are not in any particular order. It just, all willy nilly. The first one is why don't you get on disability? And the thing is there's no way for me to get on disability for depression. For any kind of mental illness, they require like years and years worth of documentation, suicide attempts, stuff like that. And even for the physical stuff, I'm I don't really go to doctors. Um, and so I don't have. I can build that up certainly, but that'll take time, and it's not something that's going to help me now. So that's why I haven't gotten on disability or anything like that. Second question is, have you ever had any encounters with bears? And the answer is no. Um, we've got coyotes out here, deer, raccoons, whatever. But the thing is I try to stay away from national forests and things like that, where there are going to be bears or panthers or any kind of carnivores, predators, that sort of thing. Like right now, this area here it's a pretty big wooded area, but it's on all sides are roadways and shopping plazas and residential areas all the way around. So I don't really worry about that. There is a possibility about 10 miles down that way is a national forest where frequently people spot bears and panthers, cougars, whatever. Um, but and though they technically could come here and try to eat me, it's not likely. They would have to go through a lot of city type stuff. So um, that's that. Um, Number three is, why do you complain so much? Why are you whining? Quit whining. There's a lot of that. The thing is I'm not complaining. Well, maybe I am complaining. I'm not really whining. I'm just stating it how it is. I'm more of a realist, a pragmatist, a dreamer sometimes, but I believe in telling you the way it is. And I'm kind of like, once a month I try to dedicate at least one of my videos to my mental processes and how I'm doing physically, mentally, spiritually, all that. And I just kind of lay it all out there. I noticed that when, like, I'll put out like a gear video or something, and I'll get a lot of new subscribers, and then I'll put out like my mental health video of the month, and then I'll get like people unsubscribing. Two steps forward, one step back. But it is what it is. I'm not going to be one of those kind of social influencer types that's going to be like, oh, everything's so beautiful. Look at this wonderful stuff, and look what I've made. I'm doing it kind of more of a realistic sort of vantage point from somebody that deals with depression on a regular basis and other issues. So there's that. Number four is, why don't you get a job? I know I say that with a slang kind of deal. Why don't you get a job? Just get a job. Job will fix everything. Job does not fix everything. Um, the thing is the most I could really go for right now is a minimum wage job that, teenagers get, and they can't really make a living on. How am I supposed to? I have applied to all the places around here, but, I've got white hair, I've got a kind of an aged look, and I'm kind of relegated to having to apply to places now that already have old folks, even though I don't see myself as old. I've got white hair, and, if there's a choice between hiring some 20-year-old kid that doesn't know what he's doing versus myself, they're going to hire the kid that's older folks are known to have more issues. They're more high maintenance as far as that's concerned. I also have some physical ailments, disabilities that preclude me from staying on my feet for a long period of time. And until I'm able to go to the doctor and develop a history of that, I may or may not get disability from that down the road. But right now, that it doesn't help me right now. Why don't you go to a doctor? Number 5. I was able to get medical, like health insurance for free, and that's cool. I haven't gone yet because um, for my mental health, for my depression, my anxiety, I've gone to the doctor before, and all they do is throw me on one medication after another and hope something works. And it's just not something. I know what the situation is going to be. Yes, it's possible that they would find something that would work for me. And I definitely need to go and figure out something that's going to help with my anemia. Although I've been in a hospital for anemia. All they did was give me a blood transfusion, give me some iron supplements, which I already take, and I already know what's going to happen. So I will go eventually. Just right. The thing is like I'm 99% sure what the solution's going to be for them. Either A, throw me on a whole bunch of medications, or B, tell me the same old, same old. So, you know, we're gonna wait on that. Um, Number 6 is, why don't you, find some kind of community? They tell me that being alone is bad and that I need to either find a church or other homeless people or stuff like that. I'm actually okay with being on my own. I could definitely use some community, but community is specific to me. Community is like, it has to be a specific kind of community. Like, just hanging out with everybody and their dog is not my idea of finding people that I can relate to. Um, I can get along with just about anybody, but at the same time, it's like I have a pretty unique personality, I would say, and just sitting me down, you know sitting me down in a place where there's people that I don't know is going to make me feel uncomfortable. Um, I'm more of a one-on-one kind of guy. I don't really like big crowds, and so that's not really a fix for me. And I don't know. Number 7, why don't you go to a shelter? Okay. Well, shelters, um, they're not all created equal. Um, and usually, it's very rare that you can get into a shelter and become like, I was in a shelter 25 years ago, and it was in Anna, Texas, or no, McKinney, Texas, anyway. And it was pretty cool because they register you, and then they give you like 3 or 4 months, and they give you the rules and things like that. Um, but the ones here are pretty much a first come first serve, and if you get there late, then like if they say their check-in time is by 8 o'clock, and you got to be there by then. Uh, After that, if you don't get there by 8 o'clock, you get there 8:01. You're not going to be let in, and you've got to sleep in a tent. And are you just carrying a tent around with you and a tarp? And you know, um, I've had some bad experiences with shelters, and uh, sleeping in a room with 90 people or whatever, on a mat. Uh, I would just prefer to sleep in a tent, honestly. Down the road, I might, I've tried looking into housing, and they're, the DHS office, they said it's like 2 to 5 years. I was like, wow, okay, that's not great. But, yeah, shelter is not really a good thing for me. I tend to be a loner in that respect, and wanting to kind of go out here on my own, in my own space, and be accountable to myself. And like when I stayed at a hotel this past week, and it was nice, but I had a real hard time sleeping. It was just a lot of noises I could hear, like the the guy next door snoring and the TV, and I had a really hard time sleeping or falling asleep. I guess I'm used to it being a lot quieter. I mean, I still hear noises out and about, car alarms and whatnot, but it's definitely much more my scene. Sorry, I'm seeing birds. Looks like a hawk. Um, okay, number eight. Eight. I get the question. Why don't you try this diet? There's the all meat diet, the keto, whatever that is, the um, all what was it? Fungi, mushrooms, algae. Um, the thing is I'm not really in a position to be trying new fangled diets. I can't really cook foods. I guess I could. I could make a little soda can stove, but draws animals, and uh, it's just not worth it to me. If I try to eat as healthy as I can. Um, Pre-made salads, things like that, sandwiches, whatever. But as far as like I'm lactose intolerant, so I stay away from certain kinds of foods, and I can do that with other things if I found out that particular food group was messing with me. But I'm kind of limited in what I can do, and then I've also got to stretch my food stamps to last the entire month, and that's difficult as well. So I'm just trying to get by. Um, Trying to be healthy, but as far as niche diets, I can't really do. Um, Number nine, why don't you come to Jesus? Choose God. And that's kind of a loaded question for me. Um, I for a while there, a couple of years ago, um, I was I considered myself a progressive Christian, and if you ask other Christians, Orthodox Christians, they consider progressive Christians to be false teachers and the Antichrist and all that crap. The thing is, I think that certain people have a certain inclination to be God's children, if that's a thing. Um, but like for me, like I don't feel any closer to God. Um, even when I look to God, because I still pray and I still try to uh, lead a good life, but like I don't feel anything outside of myself. I don't feel like the presence of God. I never have, and that's always been half the time I pray and something good happens, and I'm like, great. But then the other half I pray and that nothing happens, or the opposite happens. I'm like, it's kind of potluck. It's kind of like, is there really? I don't know. I don't feel like if God is out there, then uh, he's not there for me. So I try to focus on the day to day. I'll pray still, but honestly, it's um, I don't feel that God's there for me. So that's sad, but it is what it is. Uh, Number 10, last question. Um, why don't you just live in a van? I actually want to do a video on living in a vehicle, because I have lived in a vehicle, not a van. I've lived in an SUV. I've lived in a Saturn, Pontiac. I've lived in several different cars, and I have mastered that. The thing is in order to get a van, you need to have funds, and then not just uh, one-time fund to get the vehicle, and the license plates and all that, but you also have to get like insurance and gas, and if something goes wrong with the vehicle, you got to have money to fix that up. And so I don't have that right now. I would certainly look at a van or a vehicle. Living in a vehicle is a step up, but there are pros and cons to living in a vehicle as well. So and there are limitations in that. Um, so right now I'm just kind of living life in a tent day by day, and trying to make it work. But anyway, that's my 10 top 10 questions I get, and I get, and I've gotten. Um, Maybe some good answers, maybe some not so good answers, but that's where it's at. I hope your road's a good one, and if you're homeless, I hope it doesn't suck for you. Peace.